Hey, what's going on, bull runners? Welcome back to the channel where we break down the hottest crypto news and keep you ahead of the game. Today, we're diving into some massive stories shaking up the market, and trust me, you're not going to want to miss a single second of this. Picture this: the crypto world is buzzing, markets are swinging, and global events are sending shockwaves through Bitcoin, XRP, and beyond. But here's the problem: most people are just watching from the sidelines, confused, missing out on opportunities because they don't know what these headlines mean for their wallets. Sound familiar? Well, don't worry, we've got you covered. In this video, we're going to be breaking down some of the biggest crypto news of the day in simple terms, why it matters, and how you can stay ahead of the curve. From a wild statement by Trump that's got the markets on edge, to a major company scooping up hype tokens, to 8 companies being big on XRP Treasuries, and much more. This is the stuff that could change the game for your portfolio. So stick with me until the end as well, because I'm going to be dropping exclusive sneak peek of Altcoin Pro University, our crypto trading platform and community that you're not going to want to miss to take your portfolio to the next level. Plus, we'll be jumping over to X to find out all the breaking news that's happening in the crypto world today. We'll also head over to Forex Factory. There were 2 red folder news events that came out today and their results. Plus, we'll take a peek at the week ahead. What's happening next week that is important for the markets? Plus, we'll be heading over to the charts and checking out XRP. We're going to be looking for the next support and resistance levels. Plus, we'll be taking a look at the long-term, short-term, and medium-term momentum waves for XRP. And so much more for you in today's video. So if you're like most people where you don't have the opportunity to spend hours a day researching crypto news like we do for you here on this channel, make sure you subscribe today. And if you're feeling bullish about this current bull run, let me know by commenting 777 down below. And first things first, let's head over to CoinMarketCap and check out the overall health of the crypto market. So today we are trading at a total market cap of 3.3 trillion. It is up 1.69% today. Decent sized trading volume day, $145 billion worth of volume. Fear and greed index coming in at a 52. We are back in the neutral zone. Altcoin season coming in out of 26 of 100. Yesterday was 26. Last week was a 26. We want to see that thing increase up into the 75 level to full on altcoin season. But we're not getting altcoin season until Bitcoin dominance drops, and it is continuing to rise 63.9%, up 2.4% today. Bitcoin ETF volume continuing to drop off to the downside this week. We will finish the week to the upside, a total of $1 billion worth of inflows, so that is positive. This week's Ethereum inflows, unfortunately, not great at all. Only $6 million of inflows. As you can see, it was definitely cranking to the upside. And this is why I like to tell you guys to track the ETF tracker. It is a great leading indicator of where price is going for Bitcoin and Ethereum, and soon XRP when the spot ETF launches for them. But for now, we are seeing declining volume, but it is still positive to the upside. Top 5 cryptos by total market cap. Bitcoin coming in at number 1, $105,000. Ethereum at number 2, $25.53. Tether at number 3, $1. XRP at number 4 at $2.13. BNB at number 5 at $653. And we'll throw in Solana there at number 6, $147. Forex Factory. Today we had some great news come out for the economy, forecasted at 53.5. The preliminary University of Michigan consumer sentiment came out actually very good at 60.5. The reason traders like this is financial confidence is a leading indicator of consumer spending, which accounts for a majority of the overall economic activity. So as you continue to hear Trump say that the economy is doing well, people think the economy is doing well. This is a number reflecting that. Unfortunately, the war is going on now in Iran and Israel, so it's throwing all of this off. But when it comes to the United States, great numbers in this category here. And we also had the inflation expectations. The previous number was 6.6%. The number that came out today, 5.1%. There was no forecast for this one. And this is based off expectations for future inflations can manifest into real inflation, primarily because workers tend to push for higher wages, and then they believe prices will rise as well. So great number reports today, but next week is the numbers that you are going to want to watch. So on Tuesday, we're going to have retail sales coming out, giving us some information on how people are actually buying. Then on Wednesday, we'll have unemployment claims. It's going to be a big number for us next week. But the biggest thing, the most important thing next week is the federal funds rate to watch out for. It is forecasted at 4.5. It is currently 4.5. Donald Trump is calling for a 1 full point reduction down to 3.5, What will the actual number be? We'll find out on Wednesday, and this is going to have huge impacts on the volatility of the market next week. And lots of news coming out, positive news for the crypto markets. Fundamentally, obviously, the markets in the charts are not doing so hot, but we'll get to that at the end of the video. If you're looking for just the charting, feel free to skip ahead. That is totally fine. But breaking, Amazon team members says that they are exploring how XRP can be used in payment systems. So Amazon aligning with Ripple's X Rapid technology with uses XRP to reduce liquidity costs for cross-border payments, as noted in the 2025 Amazon Web Services case study highlighting its efficiency in emerging markets. XRP's potential adoption by a giant like Amazon could challenge the SEC's 2024 stance labeling it a security, especially with a crypto-friendly SEC chair transitioned under Trump's administration, potentially shifting regulatory clarity as per recent legal developments. So this is massive news. Obviously, it's rumors right now, but it's backed by a case study. Will Amazon be using XRP? And massive news for Hyperliquid. We've been talking about Hyperliquid over in our community. That is Altcoin Pro University. If you have not been a part of our community, feel free to join us down below. There's a link. Click to join today. And we've been hyped on Hyperliquid since the launch of our Altcoin Pro community. As we can see here, November of 2024, when the system was just launched, Hyperliquid, the L1 exchange killer. We went through and gave a full breakdown on why Hyperliquid is a good project, other projects built on top of the layer one, and how you could utilize this for your advantage in the future. And if we take a look at the Hyperliquid chart on the daily chart, this one launches in December. We were talking about it back in November because remember, they did an airdrop on this. We were talking about it so people could get points, earn the airdrop. It obviously pumped as people were getting super hyped up for the airdrop. People started taking profit off that airdrop. It actually came down and did a pretty gnarly reset back to entry, but it has been racing to the upside since April. So if you're someone who likes to be early to coins, make sure you check out Altcoin Pro University, link in the description. But now it's gaining mainstream hype. Tony G Company Invest Holdings purchases 10,387 hype tokens worth around $438,000 as part of its long-term digital asset strategy. Also big news, Pakistan taps 2,000 megawatts surplus power for Bitcoin mining and AI to curb waste and boost tech. So this is a huge move for Pakistan. Congratulations to them finding something to do with their extra power. And a great post here from Good Morning Crypto, putting everything together in a simple, easy to read chart here. Update: 8 companies now plan on launching an XRP Treasury. As you know, we've been talking about XRP Treasuries, companies taking it to the next level, trying to duplicate and replicate what MicroStrategy and MetaPlanet have done with Bitcoin. People are doing this now with XRP, which is fantastic. So Trident did $500 million worth of buys. Weebus International, $300 million. Vivo Power, $121 million. Wellgistics, $50 million. Hyperscale, $10 million. Worksport, $5 million. BC Bud, $250,000. And DigitalCom, $225,000. And hundreds of companies will be launching XRP Treasuries in 2025 and beyond. This is only the beginning. And this was a great video put together. Jason AI Williams posted this one. It says, sickest Bitcoin ad on the streets. It's an AI video. Check this out.
You've been very successful, but what's your biggest regret in life?
Good question. Probably that I never got to 6.15. I didn't buy the dip hard enough, or the top for that matter.
My advisor told me to diversify out of my Bitcoin position. And like an idiot, I listened. That decision probably cost me $1 billion or $2 billion.
In those days, you could get a Bitcoin for $200, and I didn't buy nearly as much as I should have.
What's your biggest regret in life?
Not stacking hard enough.
Someone said it was either worth 0 or infinity. I thought that was the dumbest thing I ever heard. Anyway, this is where I live now. Spare any sats?
So people are getting very, very creative with the AI videos. This was a great one about a Bitcoin commercial. You could obviously, for those of you guys out there that have the time and are AI whizzes, go create one for XRP. And some sad news for a trader out there. Unfortunately, James Nguyen got liquidated again, and now his wallet has lost $2 million. Now, if you're not familiar with James Nguyen, he recently lost $100 million. This guy created a new wallet, put another $2 million into it, and he was liquidated again. So do not be like James Nguyen. Learn how to trade. And speaking of learning how to trade, you can head over to Altcoin Pro University and head on down to our technical analysis essentials class. And this will walk you through everything, how to get started trading and actually learn it. So that way you don't make the mistakes and lose either hundreds or thousands or millions of dollars like James Nguyen did. Click the link down in the description. Now, here is an interesting thought on what is happening in the Middle East, because some people are coming out with this idea that this is based upon a fight against China through a proxy war through Iran, which is pretty interesting. So what it says here, what's unfolding in the Middle East is really just the start of America's war against China. Israel's doing America's dirty work because Iran's pumping cheap oil to China. And with Iran still around, it's hard for the U.S. to strong arm Saudi Arabia, another major oil supplier to China. So this does make a lot of sense because, as you know, in the past, wars have definitely been fought over the dollar, also over the petrodollar, as it is called now. So a lot of people think that fiat currencies, it's held up by the US dollar, but in reality, it's called the petrodollar. That means the buying power. When you purchase oil, you have to purchase it in US dollars. Now, some countries are starting to move away from that. If you remember BRICS, their main thing is that they were going to start being able to purchase oil and other commodities in their own native currencies as opposed to using the US dollar. But the US dollar needs to maintain strength. Otherwise, the US loses its power. So you can see why we may be going to war over this war with oil. Also, some major XRP news here on-chain global adoption. RLUSD, we already know on XRP Ledger, is their own native stablecoin. Well, now there's also USDC on XRP Ledger, which just happened yesterday officially. Then there's also XSGD, which is Stratus X. And then also the Europe stablecoin from Schumann.io, and then also USDB from Braza Bank. So the XRPL is ready for builders, institutions, and users who demand fast and compliant stablecoins. So for all of you out there that have been holding XRP for years, thinking that overnight it's going to be $10,000, this is the type of stuff that could make you actually start to believe that that's really going to happen. Because if they're moving the entire financial markets to run off of the XRP ledger, then XRP price will have to rise to the upside. And Justin DRW Investments, managing $3.5 billion, has stated that we see the benefit of holding Bitcoin on corporate balance sheets. So more institutions ready to buy Bitcoin. Speaking of buying Bitcoin, breaking, BlackRock just made waves in the crypto space, acquiring 2,680 Bitcoin valued at $282 million. They're not just watching the market, they're buying the dip, which makes sense because remember, they just sold a lot of Bitcoin and then they bought a whole lot of Ethereum. So they, out of their ETFs that were making tons of money because their ETFs were moving to the upside, they took some profit off their Bitcoin ETFs. They ended up buying a ton of Ethereum. And then this massive price breakdown of Bitcoin, they swooped in and bought the dip. So they're not just watching the market, they're buying it. And Justin, JP Morgan reveals that Q1 2025 marked one of the best ever quarters for publicly traded Bitcoin mining companies. So as you know, when prices go up, hash rates go up, these Bitcoin mining companies are making money because they're mining coins at all-time highs, obviously. Now, the only issue is when they start to take profit. It has been one of the indicators of a cycle top is when the miners start to take profit. So we're going to continue to monitor the mining as well. And in the biggest event that happened, in my personal opinion, at this XRP event in Las Vegas, Brad Garlinghouse did come out and say he's betting big on XRP's role in the future of cross-border payments, saying the token could capture 14% of SWIFT's global volume within 5 years. So that is a massive, massive push. And when you ask Grok to calculate 14% of SWIFT's estimated global yearly transaction volume in 2025, we'll use the figure I provided earlier, $165 trillion calculated. 14% of 165 trillion equals 0.14 times 165.4. 14 times 165.4 equals 23.156 trillion. Final answer, 14% of SWIFT's global yearly transaction volume 2025 is approximately 23.16 trillion, and this represents the potential annual transaction value that XRP could capture if Ripple's CEO Brad Garlinghouse prediction is realized within 5-year time frame. And as we were talking about in yesterday's video, this is what I saw happening, and it started to happen, but unfortunately there was a retaliation attack. But what I said is the reason that Israel is attacking, they were saying that they were hitting strategic places, the nuclear weapons places. And then Trump came out and said this morning, Trump says the attack would be great for the market because Iran will not have a nuclear weapon. Because that's what people think, is if Iran becomes a nuclear power, it's bad for the whole world. Well, Israel bombs all these spots in Iran. The markets absolutely tank. In yesterday's video that came out about this time yesterday, I said, hey, if news comes out that we were able to stop Iran from building their nuclear weapon, then I bet you the markets recover. Now, the markets are recovering slowly today. That is probably due to the response that Iran did also send its missiles into Israel today, into Tel Aviv and also Jerusalem. So a lot of back and forth there. Now, will Israel attack Iran again? Well, things are starting to heat up for sure. But regardless, if we find out that now Iran has no chance of developing a nuclear weapon, I could see a very positive rebound in the markets for everybody around the world. So speaking of the markets, let's go ahead and take a look at XRP in the markets. As you guys remember, we were starting to make some good progress to the upside, getting new higher highs and then higher lows and then a higher high and then another higher low and then another higher high. And then unfortunately, we broke that trend and we've been heading to the downside. Now, at this moment, we are still holding this level right here, which is $2.07 as a great support. Yesterday got right at that level as well. Unfortunately, when we look at our momentum indicators, long-term momentum has turned to the downside. It was about to make that break to the upside just a couple of days ago. We're even in full moon territory. As of the 11th, it was a full moon. And if you've done any research on the full moon indicator on TradingView, it indicates that once full moon happens, within 5 days, we should pump to the upside. So we're on the 11th. So then it would be the 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th. So we have 2 more days. Are we going to recover from this? Now, if you're looking at our midterm momentum wave here, the shaft trend cycle, it is now turning to the downside, unfortunately. Our short-term momentum shaft cycle is already been sloping down for a while. So as far as momentum signs, not looking great. We would have to have some sort of crazy news come out to turn the markets around. Now, right now, we could do some consolidation. I'm just really hoping we don't break below this 207 line like we talked about. The ultimate support does come in based off of our spider line, which is this trend line right here, which is actually a trend coming from 2018 and then a middle point in 2021. But it gives us $1.90. We can hold $1.90 no matter what, no matter how bad this war goes, no matter how crazy this turmoil gets, then we'll be okay. But if we lose that, then it could be, timber, look out below, you're coming back down to 93 cents even. But right now, we're still staying positive. It hasn't actually broken down significantly. In fact, when we look at Bitcoin, Bitcoin recovered very nicely. Yesterday's candle actually ended green, right? So we had this really crazy push to the downside. The daily chart did dip into the 50 exponential moving average, rallied back significantly strong to the upside. We are now supported by that 30 exponential moving average. The new candle has come out. It is starting to the downside. I don't like that we're below the 10 exponential moving average on Bitcoin. And like I said, on XRP as well. So we're going to go ahead and get rid of all of these lines though for now. We'll keep this support level right here. Now, one of the things that we like to talk about on my segment on the charts is the 1100 exponential moving average. And as you can see, this is the 3rd time price has come down to the 1100 exponential moving average level and has rebounded. So this happened way back on May 30th. It came down and it did wick down a little deeper, but then battled back. Right here, it also did the same thing on June 5th. It came down a little deeper, but then battled back. And right now, as you can see on the 4-hour charts, it's been battling this area. So it is coming in as a decent support. And I know some of you guys are like, 1100 exponential moving average, does that really work? Well, take a look at Bitcoin. And you do have to, each coin has a different level, right? And they do break down, but you can use them as target. So for example, when it was at the 30-minute, right? See, price came down to the 30-minute and then it finally failed, right? When the war started happening, boom, it failed to the downside. And then when you go to the next higher time frame of the 1 hour, look at where price hit. So it came down and literally wicked off of the 1100 exponential moving average and bounced back. And where did it bounce back to? Well, if you look at the 30-minute chart on the 1100 exponential moving average, price came back, hit it, rejected down into one of our supply and demand zones, and then went back into this zone. So it's an interesting theory. Use it on your own as you will when you're checking out the charts for yourself. Let's also take a look at something that's developing here on the Bitcoin charts for us. So we're going to grab our parallel channel tool here. We're going to go up to this level right there, and then we'll go right there. And so now we have an ascending channel for us. It's actually bouncing off of this level here right now. If we fail below this, then we would have a break and a potential drop. Let's look at the 45-minute level, which is down here at 104. But then we could be breaking back down to the 1 hour level, which is the 102. Now, what's interesting is if we lose the 1 hour level, where do you think we're going after that? Probably the 2 hour level, right? Well, we'll look at the 2 hour level. The 2 hour level comes all the way down at 98,000, which is crazy. What about the 1.5 hour, 90-minute? That one comes in at 100,477. Interestingly enough, we have not tapped this 90-minute level yet since we broke above it all the way back here on April 21st for Bitcoin. So it is likely that it could come back and tap that area. And what's crazy, though, is that this right here is lining up exactly with that. I don't see that happening in 1 day or 2 days. So we'll watch that. So to the downside, we have a safety net here, 100,500 basically. Now, what about to the upside? Where could price be going to the upside? Well, we have our 15-minute target on the 1100 exponential moving average right here above us at 106,604. 10-minute target, 106,739. So basically, that's where our next level is, 106,700 to the upside. So watch that. And we'll watch 104,472 to the downside. If it breaks that, we could be coming back down to the 100 levels. Now, let's use the same philosophy for XRP. So the 45-minute level right here broke and retested that and broke to the downside. Let's look at the 90-minute. It's up there. 1 hour, 4 hour. All right, so we know that it broke to the 4 hour. Let's look at the 5 hour. It's going to be below it. So XRP could come down to 205.07 as a security level. Now that is below that 207 level, which actually makes sense because if price does come down here, swipe out liquidity. If we look, there's a bunch of liquidity sitting right here as well. Let's look at the 6 hour. Ooh, that gets a little bit nasty there, right? So the 6 hour 1100 breaks us all the way down to the $1.93. Now let's look at the momentum. So long-term momentum, 6 hour has broken down. And as you can see, once it did that, price dropped. We have reset, though, on our short-term, long-term momentum waves on the 6 hour. Let's see if we're building any momentum on the 4 hour. Not yet. The 1 hour. 1 hour has built some momentum to the upside, but it's looking like it's getting exhausted, and it didn't quite make it all the way to the 0 line here. Let's look at the 30-minute. 30-minute is starting to lose its short-term momentum or mid-term momentum. This is not good when it does this, right? So when price gets up to the 0 line here, fails it twice, and then starts to curve back down. So we'll watch this. Like I said, there's a likelihood price comes back down and retests this 207 line. It didn't quite get there yet. On the 30-minute, we're looking pretty bearish. 15 minutes about to break back down below. However, it's getting to the 0 line, and our short-term, mid-term momentums are ready to reset back to the upside. The weekend's coming. The problem is the weekend is here and volume gets really weak on the weekends, unfortunately. All right, so we've lost the 10-minute. Let's look at the 6 minutes. Look at the 5-minute. 5-minute has gotten up to the top on the midterm. We're below the lines here. So everything is looking very bearish, unfortunately, at this exact moment. So take a look at this too. Price is sitting and consolidating on the 1 minute 1100 exponential moving average. Now, when you look at Bitcoin, it is not there yet. So I bet you Bitcoin comes down to this level, 105, 450-ish. We'll probably see that return to that level there. Let's look at Ethereum. Is it at its 1 minute? So Ethereum broke below its 1 minute and then broke back above it. Solana came down and tested off of it twice and moved up. Solana's building a little momentum here to the upside on the 1 minute. Let's look at the 5 minute. 5 minutes also starting to build some momentum for Solana. So you can see our long-term momentum wave on this 5 minutes starting to curl up strong, which is good. Short-term momentum starting to break to the upside. And then this is our midterm momentum. I just found this one that I like to use now. This one is a better confirmation. So like, let's look at the 4 minute, 3 minute. So now you're seeing some confirmation that price is wanting to climb here. 1 minute, you can see the 1 minute's already been up there. It's starting to move up. 2 minute, starting to climb. 3 minute, starting to climb. And then you can just continue using this for confirmation, right? So once these, as the higher and higher time frames break above their zero line on the long-term momentum wave, the Wolfpack indicator, you can use these settings. Wolfpack is the 10 and the 30 for fast and slow. So we're not there on the 4 minute yet, and we're not there on the 5 minute yet. 6 minutes is starting to make some momentum to the upside. 10 minutes, still flat. So again, if you want to learn the technical analysis, the tips and tricks on how to do this, head down to the link in the description below. Join Altcoin Pro University, get the technical analysis class, and start watching it immediately.